to start. Uh, Being in the Hunger Games in general is exciting, but I feel like there is a certain kind of generational thing. Like having the Hunger Games back has meant like the world to me because I remember reading it in high school and seeing the movies and making it my whole kind of personality. And so
Yeah.
for you, what is it like to, step into this franchise, especially in this kind of prequel world that we get to exist in?
Oh my gosh. I'm so lucky. I think I need to like start there, like growing up and being such a big fan of, the films and the books. And I remember like going to Costco and being like, Mom, please let me go buy a book. Please, please. They have the new Hunger Games book. Like I need it. I literally think I have my like Mockingjay copy like somewhere in my parents' house for safekeeping. But yeah, I'm so lucky. And I think the fans have been a really big part of that. Like we're such a fan, like driven franchise. And I just have gotten the kindest messages and I'm so lucky, grateful.
When you get to, you have the fun aspect of the Hunger Games because you're not in the arena, which I feel like is the worst place to be. But you get to like take us into this version of the Capitol, which is very different from the Capitol that we see later on. What kind of elements did you guys get to kind of work on and bring out with this Capitol for your guys's like approach as actors?
I think watching the films, I think that's why watching the films was like so important for me. Like in terms of research for this character, so alongside like reading the book that was already published. But in terms of the films, for me, getting that not the accent per se, but the pronunciation, and it's kind of I guess stuck with me. People in the capital from, how do you get from, Abby Trinket almost doing like a what is it? It's like the way that Judy Garland speaks almost. She's got
It's
that
like almost
transatlantic.
transatlantic.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And so for me, like being on set, I think one of the lines that I had the word Panem in it. And it was impossible for me to say. Our dialect coach kept coming over and she's like, you're saying Pan Am. I'm like, is it not Pan Am? She goes, no, it's Panem. I go, right, Pan Am. She goes, no. And so this was like a little joke that I had between like Francis Lawrence and me. It was fantastic. I'm a really big fan of carrots. This is a weird segue. But he would bring like a little snack thing of cut up carrots with him. And you're not allowed to have food on set just because, you don't want crumbs everywhere. Carrots are pretty mess free though. And we made a deal that for every time I could say penem correctly, I'd get a carrot. I felt like a horse, like I was getting trained, or like, like a pig, like on a stick, a carrot. But yes, so that's how I learned how to say penem correctly was, and then we also referenced the original films of Penem Today, Penem Tomorrow, Penem, and so that was kind of how that happened. So for me personally, like getting into the capital groove of things definitely came with pronunciation.
Yeah, and you do play a character who is hanging out with Snow, who I'm obsessed with that. I'm gonna swear I'm obsessed with that messy bitch. I love him so much. Like, don't love him in the original trilogy, but this movie, I'm like, I get it. Let him cook.
I've
Even
seen
though
all the memes. I've seen all of the tweets, posts,
exes,
X's.
whatever they are now.
I keep referring to X as X, formerly Twitter, and all of the things I talk about because I just think it's funny.
Same. I refuse to call it X. I'm like, it's Twitter or whatever that other name is.
Yeah.
But you do get to have, this dynamic because you guys are partners in this, partners and like two people who work very closely together. How did you and Tom kind of navigate building that contentious friendship at times?
Yeah, I think I would say that their relationship is very layered. I think there's a lot of complexities to it that maybe we didn't see in the book or perhaps, catch in the book even. I think that my initial thought of Clemencia was very like is slightly altered from what I think Francis's, thought of it was. I remember the note he kept giving me. He was like, "Can you make it a bit flirtier?" I was like, "Flirtier? What do you mean? I thought they were class partners." He goes, "Just you and Tom talk." So like Tom and I have a little inside joke about what Clemencia and Coriolanus's past looks like. That will remain a secret. It was super funny though. Great friendship. Lots of years of friendship.
Um, but you also live out my worst fear because I cannot stay. I was never both angrier at a woman for not being like, just say you lied, and in a thing. Because I mean, Viola Davis probably also didn't help my fear in that moment. But like terrified of snakes.
Yes.
I was like, no.
Well, you'd be comforted to know that there were no actual snakes. I didn't get to handle any. I would have loved to. I would have been down for it. But no, as they say, I support both women's rights and women's wrongs. And she should have, perhaps, if she wanted the easy way out, lied. But I guess Dr. Gall said there was no easy way out of it.
It was, I truly was like, girl, what are you doing? Just say I didn't write it. You're gonna reach your hand in there and die. For
She's a woman of her word and a woman of not her word. She sticks where it needs to. Yes.
it was perfection. And for a last quick question, obviously, like you didn't get to go into the districts within this movie, which is so upsetting because I loved getting to see District 12 in like this new way. And it was very fun to kind of see capital characters go there. But for you, if you could see Clemensia in a different district or somewhere else in Panem, where would you want her to end up going?
Oh, she's ending up in District 1. You think she's going far from luxury? She's like, listen, if I can't be in the capital. I have that. I love referencing this wonderful sticker. A fan drew this. I think it's Claire Commissions on Twitter. And this dress, this is a YSL dress. Like she's wearing like the most beautiful Jeffrey Campbell shoes. They're studded with that hair. She's staying close to the capital. She's going to 1. But I think for me personally, I would have loved to see District 8. I just think that I would have loved to see, what made Reaper just be the most courageous. I mean, I was crying in the theater. My mom and I were crying in the theater the first time we watched that. We were like, oh, it's so moving. And Dimitri is fantastic in it. So me personally, I'd love to go to District 8 and see.
I respect it as a District 4 girl because I'm a Finnick girl. I respect it, and I District 8 rules. So I also am like, yeah, I get it. Why go to District 12 when you can see like all of the cool boys hanging out?
You're like, they're by the water. It makes sense.
Yeah,
Please.
do you want to go hang out with eventually Gale? That sounds like the worst. No thanks.
To be really beautiful though, right? You go on a little getaway to a cabin.
And then
Under the
maybe
boards.
by another snake. And then Rob.
Hopefully not.
Thank you so much for talking with me today. I can't wait for people to get to see this movie when it comes out on their home release. And I'm so excited that the Hunger Games are back in the conversation.
I think it's out. It's currently out on digital right now. It came out on, I believe, December 30th. But if you want to get it on Blu-ray and DVD, I think it should be coming out February 13th. So if you haven't already seen it, good way to watch it. If you want to watch it 80 times over, like yours truly has, and then letterboxed it every time. I would love to see your reviews. Please send them to me.
They should make you now a letterboxed.
I'm ready. I'm ready for my letterbox.
Poster of you.
These are not good though, guys. Like I recently watched the entire Twilight series again, and like no one wants to watch and read all of my reviews for those films, but
I would. I watched them in all one day, just like one time recently for funsies. So I would read all of your reviews just to see what was up.
Thank you so much, Rachel.
It was a great one.
Thank you. Have a good one.